Prakash ji, and the next speaker we have with us is Miss Vedika Shekhar. She is an associate health and nutrition division, Niti Aayog, Government of India. She has done her MPhil in international development from University of Cambridge and her bachelor's from Lady Shri Ram College for Women. She'll be speaking on the gendered impact of COVID-19 and way forward. So over to you, Vedika.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, Vedika, you're audible. Yeah.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Dr. Rahul, for inviting me for this very crucial webinar. I mean, where the entire world is talking about health and the health impact of COVID. I think it's very crucial to even talk about the socio-economic aspects of it as well. And I would like to bring in the gendered impact of COVID because I think this is a blind spot that nobody has really focused their attention on. As we know that no pandemic is gender neutral, and COVID is also um, follows the same trend. आप बहुत पढ़े होंगे कि COVID is impacting men's immune system is more vulnerable to COVID, but socio-economic consequences of COVID is much more severe on women, and especially in developing countries where gender equality, like India, where gender equality challenges are very persistent. The impact of COVID obviously will has severe consequences. So I would like to bring 4-5 thematic areas where COVID is impacting on gender. Firstly, I will talk about the economic on the economic front. As we are all seeing that COVID is having a very negative impact on job losses, and women especially are bearing serious consequences on it because mostly 90% of women are engaged in informal sector where most of the job losses are happening right now. And इनके job चले जाने से they don't even have social protection measures like health insurance या maternity leave, pensions नहीं है. So obviously their job loss has very negative consequences. Secondly, even in the formal sector, most of the job losses are in the service sector, like textiles or service industry, restaurants. These are all overrepresented by women. So here also women are disproportionately bearing the brunt. Thirdly, I would also like to bring to notice the frontline workers. Yes, mostly are overrepresented by women, and they are currently facing a very bad occupational hazard where they run the risk of contracting the virus as well. So we need to really take utmost care on their to ensure their safety. Secondly, India का एक data मैं देती हूँ, like in terms of unpaid care work, women are responsible for 297 minutes of unpaid care work as against 31 minutes of work done by by men in the household. And with the lockdown, they are disproportionately responsible for taking care of elderly children and the men. So this is really having adverse side effects on their mental health. Thirdly, I would also like to talk about their health and nutrition impact. Nutrition wise, we know कि हमारा data is very dismal and gloomy, where 1 in 2 women are anemic. And after the lockdown and migration exodus हो रहा है, अभी lack of income नहीं है, and we know ICDS का supplementary nutrition is also curtailed right now. तो इनका food security and nutrition security is severely getting impacted. तो हमारा this can also have very negative consequences on further deteriorating their anemia and nutrition levels. Health wise, आप जानते हैं कि because of the fear of COVID, many people are, and अभी health services are curtailed. Many sexual and maternal health services are not they are not getting access to these services like antenatal care. So they are running the risk of high risk pregnancies. We are seeing data that maternal mortality rates are also increasing. Global data says that 47 million women are losing access to contraception, which is leading to 7 million unintended pregnancies. and without access to health services, this is just going to spike up the maternal mortality rates. So India really needs to watch out on that. Fifthly, I would domestic violence. Now we are seeing an alarming rise of domestic violence globally. India ka data is no different. We are so in the first week of March, National Commission of Women saw an increase of domestic violence specific cases from 116 in the first week of March to 257 in the second week of March. And I would like to highlight that these are just formal complaints. We know कि India में, because of the absence of formal channels of complaints or structures, many women don't go and officially complain about domestic violence, and mostly as they are unemployed or secondary workers, secondary earners, they are likely to not leave this abusive relationship during this economic crisis period. So ये सारे these are the areas where they are getting impacted on. As was highlighted by our previous speaker, this COVID crisis also presents us with a very good opportunity to bring about gender sensitive, systemic and structural changes. And this I think is the need of the hour, which should have happened a long time back. But I think this is a good time to bring about gender sensitive, structural and systemic changes. And government has been doing has been giving relief to vulnerable women, like Jan Dhan account mein 500 rupees they have directly transferred. Then self-help groups are also getting collateral free loans up to 20 lakhs. Then Ujjwala scheme has also for 3 months they are getting free cylinders. And then there are announcement of 50 lakhs per person for the frontline workers for health insurance. There are all been very crucial announcements, and the latest also being free food supply for women, free food supply of rice, wheat and pulses, and also direct transfer of money to the women and senior citizens. I think we really need to applaud these initiatives, but I think these are all short terms because it's ranging from 2 to 3 months. We now really need to go beyond and think about long term structural changes. And here I would like to bring about few ideas which would probably help women in different areas. So in terms of on the economic front, I think government really should think about investing in the informal sector and the MSMEs, where women are mostly overrepresented. So one of the ideas can be doubling your upper limit of Mudra loans. Secondly, self-help group has actually they are the current heroes during the COVID crisis, as one of the data which shows that in a span of 15 days about 14,000 self-help groups could produce 132 lakh of masks. These are very praiseworthy initiatives by self-help groups, and I think they have shown their potential, and government really should be boosting this potential more by supporting it in terms of financial, linking them to the market. These are the things that we should really now be focusing on. Secondly, we should also think, because now we are facing severe job losses, we can think about imparting women with some skills which are in alignment to the emerging market needs. We can think about creating a cadre of probably professional caregivers, where women volunteers could be imparted skills and trained on being COVID nurses, giving community management of malnourished children, elderly care. Then even this growing demand of contact tracing for COVID. I think that this is something that large number of women can be recruited and be trained to fill the gap. Then we should also think about in terms of structural changes, this current model of flexible timing and work from home. These are good initiatives that one should be upscaling and practicing as a new norm, because this will create a new model of shared responsibility at home, which is great. I mean, it can bring systemic changes at the family level as well. And structural changes may I would also like to bring a, a kind of a radical idea, but I think it's now, I think we should push for it, would be paternity leave in the labor law, and also thinking about some kind of incentives to encourage shared childcare responsibilities by probably giving tax credits. So this is something that has been done in countries like Sweden. Government is subsidizing childcare. Government is giving promoting tax shared responsibilities between the father and the mother by giving tax credit to the father and the mother. So we should really be doing it. And this is also a good time where we can think about property laws, having a uniform property law for equal rights to inheritance, because we know that in times of crisis, property can be a very good cushion for the women as well. In terms of nutritional securities, we know that ICDS has been currently listed as an essential service, and dry food, dry ration is being supplied to the vulnerable population. We can think of making this food more qualitatively more nutritious by probably fortifying it, because currently it's just rice and pulses. I think we should. This can give you food security, but this probably is not enough to give you nutritional security. So we should think about fortifying this food and giving it to women, so that we could fill the gap of we could fill the nutritional gap as well. Secondly, we can also think about giving them direct beneficiary transfers where take-home rations are not available. We can think of a DBT mechanism where we can spot the consumption amongst the women. And high-risk pregnancies and community management of SAM would be a very crucial priority area where we really need to focus on, because once the lockdown's lifted, this is going to create, I have a feeling it's going to create another pandemic, which we really should be avoiding. Thirdly, in terms of maternal nutrition, there are schemes like Janani Suraksha Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Matritva Vandana Yojana, where women are giving money in installments. I think we should let go of these installments and give the entire sum of money at one go without any conditions, because this is only going to encourage more demand. And lastly, I would also like to talk about, we all know that women's education, girls' education is the first thing that gets affected in any economic or family crisis. So we can also think of devising a comprehensive conditional cash transfer scheme for women, which from like their birth to up to the time where they reach 18 years, where incentives can be given in a more staggered way to ensure their continuity in their education. And lastly, domestic violence. In terms of domestic violence, government has acknowledged, UN has acknowledged that domestic violence services should be made essential, and it is be made essential. Problem in India is that the helplines and legal assistance and health-seeking behavior of violence victims are very inadequate. So we really need to take help of informal structures like frontline workers, SHG workers, and create that kind of awareness that it's fine to come and seek help and seek medical assistance and legal assistance if they are facing domestic violence. A lot of awareness and IEC activities should be taken up in this aspect. One-stop centers and shelter homes are very inadequate in India right now. We have around 500 odd one-stop shelters. I think this is a good time to upscale all the one-stop centers and shelter homes in every district, where women have that kind of support structure at the very close to their homes, where they can go and seek help. So that's it from me. I mean, I think COVID gives us a very good opportunity to incorporate these concerns and needs and build a more equitable. Probably this is a good time to build a more equitable future, which probably would help us to be prepared more if, God forbid, we have further future shocks and pandemics.
Great. In fact, this COVID-19 has created a major threat to public seminar. इस वेबिनार ने तो पूरे दुनिया के सारे सेमिनार के ऊपर पानी धो दिया है, और खास करके मेरे जैसे लोग इतने कंसंट्रेशन से आप जैसे लोगों की बातों को इतना बढ़िया से कभी नहीं सुन पाता, क्योंकि जब भी कभी हम ऑडिटोरियम के सेमिनार में बैठते हैं तो पता नहीं हम अपनी दुनिया में रहते हैं और केवल अपनी बारी की प्रतीक्षा करते रहते हैं। और सर्टेनली वेदिका जी, आपके इस स्पीच ने हम सब लोगों को एक नए टर्म्स, नई जानकारी, न्यू अवेयरनेस दी है, तो आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Pankaj sir, and thank you, Vedika, for such a wonderful lecture. And you very rightly spoke about the impacts of the feminization of the whole workforce when you were talking about the informal sector. So 80% or 90%, I must say, of the workforce are women. So it's, in other words, it's a feminization of the workforce, and we need certain strong measures to improve the conditions of women who are working in the informal sectors. And also, when you covered the cases of domestic violence and all, so here I'm reminded of Gandhiji's statement where he says that he says that the inner change in the individual ought to be the starting point for the outer change in the society. So I think the change has to come from within. When he talks about Swaraj, so he's talking about self-rule. तो एक बदलाव हम में आएगा तो बदलाव समाज में आएगा. So inner change is what is required. So thank you so much, Vedika.